The May 13 my dinner video is currently uploading to my YouTube channel after I worked on editing it in Camtasia 2019. For about an hour and a half during the early night hours. I started working on editing the May 13 my dinner video after the May 12 my dinner video uploaded to my YouTube channel around 9 p.m. After I finished editing that video in Camtasia 2019 during the mid to late evening hours. That was the time I recall finishing the editing for the May 12 my dinner video. As I recall editing it, within the first few hours of today, before I went to bed around 4:30 to 5 a.m. Somewhere around that time was when I fell asleep today. I recall first waking up naturally around 10:30 in the morning. But then I fell back asleep within a handful of minutes and was woken up by the 11 in the morning alarm I set on my laptop using a third-party website As even though I didn't have a shift at Wegmans today, there was still a special event taking place today from 2 to 6 p.m. at some kind of Wegmans conference center. The event involved a pickleball tournament. And according to what I saw at the Wegmans I work at, there were going to be food trucks at the event. And I hadn't heard back from anyone if there were any open slots for the kickball tournament. Yeah, I had missed the registration window. But there was a possibility that there was an open slot or more. I was told that when I asked about joining the pickleball tournament, as I was interested in going to that event. Around 11:30 in the morning, I had with my first cup of plain coffee for today. The leftovers from yesterday's dinner and some of a leftover bag of I believe Wegmans generic branded jalapeno cheese puffs. I got up for today more around 11:15 in the morning, but it took some time for me to decide what I wanted to have for breakfast. I considered having just the plate of jalapeno cheese puffs. But I didn't want to have that since that's essentially just empty calories. I thought of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But the bread we have at my dad's place didn't seem very suitable for that to me. The slices weren't shaped like your typical loaf of bread, and they were harder, the slices. And lastly, I thought about having a can of mushroom farro soup, but soup has quite a bit of sodium in it typically. So I ultimately decided on having the leftovers of yesterday's dinner, since I then realized that my mom would be taking me to an event where there would be food trucks. I recall having 2 full cups of plain coffee and a partial third cup. That was about a fourth of a cup from 11:30 in the morning to around 1:30 p.m., which was around the time my mom came over my dad's place to take me to the pickleball tournament. I recall we got there around 2 p.m. Maybe around 2 p.m. or so, and we were there for about 20 minutes in total. Since it was a sport tournament, and we're not that far away from summer, and there were to be food trucks. It was assumed by me, at least, that this pickleball tournament would be outside, but it turned out there were no food trucks. They would be for the kickball tournament event that would be 2 to 3 weeks from now. And the kickball tournament took place inside one of the buildings on the Wegmans compound center. It was a pretty big plaza or a lot of buildings, which to some extent fit the compound vibe. If I recall, we walked around for at least 10 minutes, if not 15 minutes, to find the entrance to the building where the pickleball tournament was. And we were helped significantly by a Wegmans employee that pulled into a parking spot that was right next to the building. I don't believe she's a co-worker of mine, but she told us, me and my mom, that the pickleball tournament would be inside that building. So we went inside and we were there for at least 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes, kind of watching shallowly the pickleball tournament. And I made some effort to ask if there were any open slots. Nobody answered me, but it seemed like there weren't any open slots. Around this time, it was pretty sunny out, and it was around 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So by the time I got to the pickleball tournament, I was sweating somewhat. We then drove to the Taichi Bubble Tea location near the local mall in my mom's area, where I got an order of spicy Tansoku ramen with pork, which I had around 3:30 p.m. after a brief stop at our local Wegmans to get a small amount of groceries, pretty much just stuff for me to eat for lunch/break at the Wegmans I work at. 2 chef salads and a chicken Cobb salad with bacon, as I felt those pre-made by Wegmans salads were pretty healthy choices with some healthy fats. And vegetables. A new gallon of whole milk, as prior to that, there was little good milk at my mom's place, and a 16-ounce bottle of Upstate Farms branded whole milk for my lunch at work tomorrow. With the ramen I had at 3:30 p.m., I had a large fruit tea, kumquat beverage with tapioca boba. I also got my usual bag, if it's available, of shrimp chips. And I also got a premium beef rice box, which is what I'm having right now, as the rice box is what I got for later. While the ramen was more for now. And yeah, I've already featured an eel rice box at least a few times in these My Dinner videos, and I decided to get something new this time. After finishing the ramen and the fruit tea boba beverage, I walked to me and my mom's local Wegmans to return a medium grayish plastic garbage bag full of containers with deposits on them, and I got back $4.25. I remember making that walk roughly from 3:45 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Both while walking to me and my mom's local Wegmans and while walking back to my mom's place, I picked up a small amount of litter and carried it in my hands until I could throw it away slash recycle it. Though I don't recall any of it being recyclable. And to dispose of the litter, I first had to walk to our local Wegmans for the walk to Wegmans. And then when I picked up litter during the walk back, I carried it until I got to my mom's place. Which wasn't too hard for me, as I've done it a number of times in the past. It was just as sunny as it was when me and my mom were on that Wegmans compound lot. Though maybe it was a tiny bit cooler, though I didn't really check. In a way, it still felt like it was summertime out there.